was a pretty solid episode of Dynamite. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was pretty awesome. We back, bitches. Alright, let's shut this music off. Alright. What's going on, everybody? Where are we at? Episode 18 now? Shit. Great for us. Smells like Wrasslin. Back at it again on Wednesday night. Got a lot to talk about. The whole, Double or Nothing show was on Sunday. A lot of shit happened since then. And we had Dynamite tonight. A lot of it has to do with MJF, obviously. I guess we'll get started on that because that's probably one of the bigger stories of this weekend. So MJF no-showed a meet and greet that people paid for. There were reports that AEW couldn't get in contact with him. Then there was rampant speculation going on throughout the weekend. People were talking about flights being booked. Is he on the flight? Is he not on the flight? Is the flight even real? What's going on? Is he going to show up for his match with Wardlow? All that stuff. No matter what you hear online, like, that's the only shit that we know for certain is that MJF no-showed the meet and greet, and he showed up to Double or Nothing. It was the first match of the night. And he did the job to Wardlow, and it went and let's say what happened between him and Tony didn't happen. That should have been the booking of the match. Like, he should have been squashed by like 10 power bombs. Like, that was legit. Now, all this stuff completely ruins my theory about him winning a Casino Battle Royal and challenging Punk for the title at All Out, because now, to be quite honest, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. He had a really, really awesome promo tonight. It was reported that him and Tony met yesterday. So, I mean, something's happening, Like, something's happening. We don't know what it is. They made it like they cut his mic, and they made it like they went straight to commercial, and they had him go as far as saying as dropping the F-bomb on television, and he pretty much echoed all the things that you've probably read about online. He wants more money. He feels like he's worth more. He doesn't think that he thinks that he's being underpaid. He's a this, he's a that. Like all the stuff that we heard online. He basically called out Tony Khan, called him a mark. A fucking mark was actually the specific phrase that he used. And, was tired. And he said that he was tired of, ex-WWE guys coming into the company and getting paid and blah, blah, blah. And he got good positive, crowd reaction. They booed on the parts when he was being heelish, but they cheered at the stuff that they agreed with him on. And regardless of what kind of character he is, he was speaking some things that echo a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but I would say it would echo some people's sentiments. There are definitely things that he said that, there was nothing that he said that I hadn't read online in some form of a fan comment or something like that. So he's obviously reading what people talk about online and what's been written about him, and he's playing off of it. So I don't know, but it's compelling stuff. It's great television. I want to know more about what's happening with MJF. I'm willing to tune in on Wednesdays to find out. I'm willing to tune in live on Wednesdays to find out so I don't get it spoiled by the internet. Like, if we're talking about angles that draw eyes to the product, like, this is an angle that draws eyes to the product. Now, I am still of the opinion that this leads to him winning the belt at All Out, and it very well might be him winning it as a face and Punk going heel. I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, really, at this point, anything's a possibility. You could speculate the most ridiculous thing, and it could actually possibly happen because no one really knows. But I guess I'll go into a little bit more detail because, the notes are in order. So it's a little bit, I don't want to really go too far out of order because then I'll go nuts. AEW makes their debut in Los Angeles. So it was the first show of theirs that they did on the West Coast, which is good. Good for the West Coast. I mean, they're, that's like the birthplace of PWG. So, more power to them. I'm glad they're getting their shows. And that crowd was hot tonight. I mean, that was like a great crowd. They were hot from minute one. Punk comes out, starts off the crowd. I mean, that's pretty much the best way to get the crowd going is to have CM Punk come out. He teams with FTR against Max Caster and the Gunn Club in a trios match. So that was actually, let's go down like the lineup for tonight. The lineup for tonight was Punk and FTR versus Max Caster and the Gunn Club. Then you had Johnny Elite facing a mystery opponent. He was calling out anybody on the roster. MJF was advertised to have something to say on Dynamite. They had a 10-man tag. It was Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, Christian Cage, Matt Hardy facing the Young Bucks, Red Dragon, and Hikuleo from Bullet Club, which I thought was pretty cool. Moxley was facing Daniel Garcia. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter tag teamed against Tony Storm and Ruby Soho, which was an awesome match, I thought. This is the kind of shit that I want to see. This is the shit that I want to see. Like, whatever. We'll go on that tangent when we go on that tangent. Wardlow in his first official match on the AEW roster, because spoiler alert, he fucking beat the shit out of MJF and won his contract. He fights JD Drake, who has a job. But he's also playing his role. So the show starts off with Cult of Personality. The Ass Boys, the Acclaimed, their whole entrance is fucking awesome. Like, I'm fucking loving it, and it really does get over with the crowd. I mean, they had FTR and Punk come out, which they all got a huge pop. I mean, FTR super over right now. Punk mega over. Putting those three together and saying like there's going to be an awesome that they were going to be in a trios match, slam dunk. The Acclaim came out, the Ass Boys came out. Fantastic intro. They do the whole like we say the wrong town or we say the wrong pay-per-view. Then Anthony Bowen says the right one. Max Caster has a horrible well, not really horrible. It was a fucking great rap, actually. He had a great rap. And then you got Billy Gunn scissoring everybody. I mean, it's just a money gimmick. They had an awesome trios match. It ended up, obviously, with Punk and FTR winning. They kind of cut a promo after the match. He says there's still lots to do. Oh, Punk had actually a pretty funny botch of this one. He ruined the hot tag. He tried to come in and jump off the ropes and slipped. You can tell he was pissed off about it, but whatever. He basically said that he's never done drugs in his life, but he imagined that's the feeling he has now is how he would feel, him winning the belt. He said that, he's going to keep on improving, keep on getting sharper, and he's going to defend the belt, yada, yada, yada. Then you get Dax. He has the mic. He basically says that his wife and daughter are in the audience and that the greatest, like aside from them, he loves pro wrestling more than anything in his life. Then they started calling out every company. Basically, they're trying to set up for the Forbidden Door pay-per-view that's happening, I think, about 3.5 weeks. And, Punk was just like, bring him out. Like, I know you're back there. Like, whoever you got for me, let's go. I want to know who I'm going to fight. And, I think they actually did call Finlay because I think he is in the back because he's doing a match on Rampage, I think. So, but anywho, it was Tanahashi that came out. So it's going to be Tanahashi versus CM Punk. At Forbidden Door. Listen, they were going to do, like, I know that there were a lot of people who, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people because the fuck do I know? But I would have liked to have seen CM Punk versus Kenta. I felt like that would have been a better match, but I guess they're going to go, like, top guy versus top guy kind of thing. So they had him against Tanahashi, which would still be a great match. I mean, I'm not even disputing that. It's going to be a good match. But if I had my preference of who I wanted Punk to fight, I would have, it should have been Kenta. And then he should be just attacking Punk from behind and being a dickhead for the next couple of weeks, leading up to Forbidden Door to make it like this guy's like he should hit CM Punk with the GTS like every week up until like Forbidden Door just to lead up to Punk hitting the GTS on him and fucking and winning the match. But it is what it is. But I'm excited. That should be a good show. I mean, we don't know anything about the show. This basically is the only match that they've booked, if I'm not mistaken. So, okay, we got one. But I'm hoping that there's a balance of, all right, we're gonna do these marquee matches, big guy against big guy. But then also, I kind of hope to get some hardcore fan matches. I mean, I'm assuming it's gonna be Zack Saber Jr. versus Danielson, which is, I think, a match that, hardcore fans definitely do want to see. Me, to be quite honest, I would have preferred him versus Okada, but, I mean, him versus Zack Saber Jr. is not a bad thing at all. But, we'll see. I mean, we already know that Danielson's already called out Zack Saber Jr. I just hope that there are more opportunities for Danielson to fight guys in New Japan before he goes back to WWE. Now, by saying going back to WWE, I don't know that for certain. I'm just kind of assuming, he's going to be older. He's going to make a lot more money in WWE. He could probably get a Roman kind of schedule and only wrestle so often and make big money. I mean, there are guys, obviously, over in Vince's place that, are old and they still wrestle. For God's sakes, The Undertaker is still wrestling. Fucking Flair is still wrestling. So if these guys take good care of their bodies and they just keep on getting an easier schedule as they grow older, they could continue to do shit like what Edge is doing right now and wrestle into their later years and still, be upright and use their body and be, and have some spring in their step. So, I would assume that Danielson would go in that direction. I think if I were him, that's probably what I would do. But then again, I don't know. I mean, he could really, really love pro wrestling and just be like, yo, fuck this. This is how I want to end my career. I could go the easier route, but I love this shit. So, who knows? Who knows? Anywho, so we have the MJF promo. He came out, he kind of sold the beating he got from Wardlow, saying he was in a lot of pain. He said he was here to talk as Max Friedman, which is, I think, his real name, because I don't think his middle name is Jacob. Or maybe it's Freudman. I don't know, but whatever. He basically said that he knows that this is the time of the year that a lot of the executives are watching because of the merger. And, Tony doesn't want anything embarrassing to happen on the show. And he said that he wouldn't sit down and meet with Tony. He said when AEW started, it was all friends wrestling. He said everyone was invited. But, MJF had to work for his spot, even though everything he touches turns to gold. I'm telling you, the Midas, someone needs to name a move and with the word Midas in it. It has to happen. I thought Jericho should have named his elbow the Midas effect, because everything he, at the time, right? Well, really in general, everything Jericho touches turns to gold. So, whatever. I digress. He said that nobody's capable of carrying the company like he has, that he's second in the ratings. He says he basically called the fans, wishy-washy. Our opinions change, from 1 minute to the next, and they say that he's this and they say that he's that, and there are people that are cheering and they really don't support him because they're just, I guess you could say fickle. He said that the other wrestlers in the locker room are part of the problem also. He says he called the fans uneducated marks. He says we don't know shit. He says he's the only safe wrestler. He said he's the best. He's the biggest draw in AEW. And Tony Khan won't open up his pocketbook to pay the guy who's been there since day one. He said if he were a guy who used to come from WWE, he'd get a big payday. He basically demanded that Tony Khan fires him from the company. He called Tony Khan a fucking mark, which was bleeped out. The screen, when they cut his mic, he spiked the mic onto the canvas, and the screen cut out as if it went immediately to a commercial. It wasn't a smooth transition. It was it was an abrupt one. So that's how they're playing this. And I guess if we want to know more, we should probably tune in next week. But that's what's happening. So I don't know. I do not know, my friends. You know, I know just as much as you do. Now, if we want to sit here, we want to speculate, we want a fantasy book, we want to guess, they could do a lot of things. I mean, they've been kind of hinting at this whole, like, Punk isn't here for AEW, he's here for himself, and it kind of, like, the seeds for that kind of got laid with the whole Hangman thing, saying he's wrestling for AEW. I think MJF was kind of saying the same kind of shit when he was feuding with Punk. Like I said, this is just a theory. If they're going to keep on pulling on that thread, then that would mean that eventually at a certain point in time, like, Punk's going to turn heel in his title reign. And maybe we don't hear from MJF again. Maybe he shows up and demands a title shot and is like, Tony's like, listen, like, I got to get rid of, like, Punk, and, like, I got to make a deal with the devil, and he signs MJF. I don't know. There's a lot of shit that they could do. Maybe MJF is never coming back. Maybe the guy who takes the belt from him is like an Eddie Kingston, which would be pretty awesome. I think if there was anyone on that roster who the fans would accept beating Punk and taking the titles, Eddie Kingston, because Eddie Kingston is like the ultimate underdog. You know what I mean? He's like a Daniel Bryan-esque kind of underdog, being he was like the working man's underdog. So, like, that could actually happen. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a Miro? No, I don't know. Miro, I love Miro, and thank God he's back. Spoiler alert for the rest of the episode, but, I don't know, man, but it's some interest, but, like, tell me that wasn't compelling television. I don't care what fan of what promote, or if if you're a strict fan of one and you're, like, completely religious about it. I mean, even then you can't ignore the fact that that promo was awesome. That was good good television. That was great television. And I am definitely saying that, like, my pick to for the guy to win the belt, if it's not MJF, is Eddie Kingston. Definitely. Oh, man, the pop he would get would be nuclear. And the promos leading up to it would be fucking phenomenal. Oh, my God, it would be great. Because technically, Eddie really doesn't win the big one. I mean, like, sure, he beat Jericho, but, like, look, he fucking lost the Anarchy in Arena match. You know what I mean? Like, yes, Royal's 100% correct. He's great as a tragic character. You know, but like tragic characters, like in this day and age, you know what people want? They want tragic characters to have a happy ending. That's what they want. That's what you got to give the people. Like, stop fucking with the people and giving them shit moments. Give them a good moment. Eddie Kingston winning the belt would be the coolest fucking thing ever. And it should, and you know what? I will go even further. It should be either A, on television, and they do it at a Grand Slam like next year, so he wins in front of his hometown, or B, they actually have a pay-per-view in New York, like maybe Madison Square Garden, and they have Eddie win there. Oh, man, that would be awesome. Because number one, they would 110% sell out Madison Square Garden for CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston for the title if everyone thought that Eddie Kingston was going to win. It would be 110% fucking sellout. I would buy ringside tickets to that shit. It would be so fucking awesome. It'd be so awesome. But hey, listen, more power to MJF. I hope he stays, me as a fan, I hope he stays with AEW. I hope that, listen, if what the rumors they say are true and that he wants an increase in his contract, he wants a raise, but he doesn't want a contract extension, whereas Tony, apparently, from what's read online, we have to take that with a grain of salt because we all know fucking the internet, but apparently Tony he would give him the increase but sign an extension. So, you know, I mean, it's a smart move by MJF because his stock could grow in 2 years, and he may not be worth the money he's making right now. And technically, for Tony to do that, he would have to gamble because it's a strong possibility that MJF is also using that to renegotiate in 2024 for a higher sum of money because he wants Vince to outbid Tony. And then it's going to put Tony in a position where he has to outbid Vince. So, like, I get that Tony doesn't want to put himself in that position because he's basically putting his balls in MJF's hands. You know what I mean? And it's like, are you really going to go, you know, like that also sets the tone for the rest of the company, how much MJF is going to be paid. You know, then that puts everyone else in a position to bargain with Tony and ask for extensions and ask for raises and be like, if MJF's getting paid this, I want to get paid that. It's a real sticky situation, you know? Like, Tony can end up with egg on his face if MJF, let's say, doesn't re-sign in 2024. And then at that point, who knows what kind of contract MJF could ask for. MJF could ask for a year contract with with an option to walk out at 6 months. You know, like, he could ask for ridiculous shit. So, you know, who knows, man? Like that's a real sticky situation in terms of a contract for MJF. And I think Tony's in a real tough spot right now. And you could tell by the fact that he didn't comment on any about that in the post-media scrum. A post-media scrum where I mean, like, come on, man. People got to ask better questions than those things. I got to get on one of those. Can someone tell me how I could get on one of those? Like, do I need to be, like, what? Like, do I need to open a sole proprietorship for this shit and say that this is an actual business? Because I'll do it, man. Like, if Grand Slam has a post-media scrum, I'm going to do it. Because there's some questions I want to ask. You know, I want to know the real shit. So, like, we'll see. That'd actually be kind of cool. Or at the very least, getting press passes for Comic-Con. That would actually be kind of dope. But anywho, so they basically now this is the Johnny Elite Open Challenge. And it's fucking Miro, and Miro's the man, and I'm super excited. And every single time I see Miro, I just hope that CJ Perry's with him. And it hasn't happened yet, but God, I hope it does. That's what it makes me do. It dehydrates me. But, like, Miro back is what's best for business. He beats the shit out of Johnny Elite. Miro's the man. He's the redeemer. He's going to go and assault heaven and kill God and all this crazy shit. And Miro's the man. So I'm all about fucking Miro and him coming back. I'm super excited that he's around. So, you know, him being on the roster only means good things. I'd love to see him mix. I can't wait to see who he's going to mix it up with next, honestly. Let's see what else we got. We have the Jericho Appreciation Society promo. They, I love. Listen, like, I know that there are people that are out there that hate it, but like I find the Jericho Appreciation Society like amusing. You know, I mean, are they a little heavy-handed with the whole sports entertainer shit? Yeah. I mean, I do like, you know, I do like the intro that Magic Matt, what do they call it? Like Big Daddy Magic Matt says in the beginning. For over 12 weeks, the symbol of excellence of sports entertainers. You know, like, that's some funny shit. So, like, if I get to hear that every week, I find it hysterical. And the fact that they cut people off, as they're singing Judas is a great heel move. But this is finally, okay, I was not a fan. Oh, well, this is probably going to go into a whole thing about Double or Nothing, but here it goes. I was not a fan of them having that match at Double or Nothing at all. I felt like it didn't need to happen. I understand that the show was made. The show's about 5 hours long, if you include the buy-in. I felt like they made a show that long because they were hoping that the main event would happen after the end of Game 7, okay? Because the Celtics and the Miami Heat were playing that day. Now, Tony's a statistician, and apparently, like, I guess the odds were in, like, the 70 percentile range that there would be a Game 7 on that day. So they booked it kind of rolling the dice going, all right, it's going to end up in our favor. But the NBA is the NBA, and they ended up having a Game 7 right in the middle of a pay-per-view. I, as a fan, like, that's a long pay-per-view. And, like, to be honest, like, it's hard to keep one's attention for that entire time. You know what I mean? Like, if I watch a movie, like, it's almost like watching a movie. You know what I mean? But, like, they don't have the benefit of actually controlling, like, well, I mean, they kind of do, but they kind of don't. Like, controlling the ebb and flow of emotions of the evening. You know what I mean? Like, a movie is structured in 3 acts, bada bing, bada boom, and, like, you know, the story reaches a crescendo at a certain point, and it purposely doesn't dip. Like, you can't, like, sway. That's the flow of a movie. You know what I mean? And, like, you have people nowadays, like like, you're like, you tell them, like, hey, like, how long is this movie? It's about 3 hours. Like, more than likely, you're going to hear someone go, Jesus, 3 hours, is it good? You know? They put on almost a 5-hour pay-per-view. And the way that they had to tell stories was to start, stop, multiple times. And a lot of the matches weren't, like, the greatest of matches. So you're starting and stopping, but, like, it's not, like, you know, like, the ebb and flow, like, it's hard to sustain, you know? I was actually shocked that, they were that hyped for the main event, because the main event ended up happening around, like, midnight. Like, I think the pay-per-view didn't end until, like, fucking, I don't even know, like, almost, like, 12:30 in the morning. You know, like, that's wild. You know, like, 5 hours is a long time, even for, like, a diehard fan. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that should have been put into consideration more than adding on all these matches just so that the card could be long enough so that the main event isn't happening while Game 7 is happening. And Tony's fucking lucky that thing didn't go into overtime. If they went into overtime, we would have been fucked. Like, that Darby Allin, and what do you call it? It was Darby Allin, and Kyle O'Reilly. That match was not necessary. That match had basically no build. They just, like, put that together on Rampage, like, the night, like the, you know, like, 2 nights before. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, like, the whole 5-on-5 Jericho Appreciation Society match versus, you know, Santana Ortiz, Kingston, and the Blackpool Combat Club. That should have been exactly what it ended up being tonight. It's going to come to a culmination at Blood and Guts. But, like, they ended up just putting that match together for what? You know what I mean? Like, they could have just kept that feud going, and then it ends up in Blood and Guts. And then they could have announced it, you know, tonight or whatever. So, I I don't understand. Like, that was another match that was unnecessary. What was another match? Okay. I'm trying to think of, like, another match. I mean, I thought that the trios match should have happened because we've been dying to see these two teams face each other, so, like, that definitely should have happened. They could have had that tag team title match, like, happen any other time. Technically, the next time that those teams should fight for the title should be when the actual title exchanges. They should have just cut it down. Like, 5 hours is a long time. So I hope, and I think that was a lot of feedback coming back from this pay-per-view. And I'm hoping that, like, Forbidden Door, I think Forbidden Door is going to be, like, maybe 2.5 hours, you know, maybe 2 hours, because there's no commercial breaks, like, on fucking, on Dynamite. But, like, I do not see it being, like, a 4-hour show, like, no fucking way. If it ends up being a 4-hour show, like, there needs to be a change. Like, those are just too long, you know, those are just too long. But, this ended up coming out, you know, like, Jericho came out, you know, saying he's a wizard, which I think is fucking hysterical still. And Regal comes out and says, blood and guts, you know, so basically, you know, they played off of him saying War Games, it's him saying blood and guts. It was the perfect play. It was awesome. It's finally going to happen. It's happening in, like, a couple of weeks, so it's going to be legit, so I'm super excited about it. Samoa Joe, they do a video package of Samoa Joe getting interviewed backstage, and he got attacked by Jay Lethal. It's obviously setting up him versus Jay Lethal for the TV title, and they're gonna put Lethal over, but they're gonna protect Joe because Joe is injured. And, you know, Jay Lethal's gonna be an awesome TV champ because he's an awesome heel and he's an awesome wrestler, and it frees up Joe to do maybe to feud with Miro or do some cool shit. Maybe to feud with frickin' Keith Lee. Maybe to feud with fucking Powerhouse Hobbs. Like, he could just do a lot of big Hoss fights. So, like, who knows? Dude, the reason why Jungle Boy is getting pinned is because that's going to be a moment of contention between him and Christian, and Jurassic Express are dropping those belts. It's happening soon. I just don't know against who, but my gut tells me it's happening soon. It may happen. It might happen at Blood and Guts, because if Blood and Guts is, like, you kind of want Blood and Guts to be a stacked card, you should put the tag titles on the line. And you should actually have a tag title change on Blood and Guts. That'd be fucking crazy. That crowd's going to be hyped. So, yeah, definitely. Let's see what else. All right, so Adam Cole joins commentary. They have this big-ass match. It's the Young Bucks, Red Dragon, and Hikuleo fight Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christian Cage, Darby Allin, and Matt Hardy. Obviously, Jeff's not wrestling because that dude looks like he's in fucking pain, man. I mean, I don't know anything. It's not like I'm talking to trainers backstage. I'm just telling you what I like when I see with my own two fucking eyes on television, the guy's moving kind of antsy, like he's been beating the shit out of himself for the last like 6 weeks since they, since he signed. And I'm glad he's not wrestling tonight, man. You need a night fucking off. I hope it's worth the money they're paying you, brother, because you've been putting your body through some shit. That's some, he's been doing some crazy ass shit. So, whatever. The heels win. They had Jungle Boy take the pin. And like I said before, the time, the countdown clock for Jungle Boy's singles run is coming. And it's going to start with him losing the AEW tag titles. And all of a sudden, we're just not going to see Luchasaurus as much anymore. Or maybe he might be around, but just to be like a supporting character with Jungle Boy. And then maybe I don't know, who knows? Maybe they have him ditch the Lucha gimmick completely. He takes his mask off and he goes heel and he's one of the like first challengers when Jungle Boy actually wins a title. I don't know, who knows? Maybe they pull a Diesel on him or some bullshit. But, I like Swerve and I like Keith, and I like Keith Lee. And if they're going to have them win the titles, great. I love Powerhouse Hobbs. I love Ricky Starks. If they're going to put the tag titles on them, great. I feel like it's got to be one of those two teams because they really haven't built up anybody. You know what I mean? And I think they were trying to mention a match that's going to happen on Rampage, but I couldn't get to hear it. I got to double check my notes. But, the heels win. I'm assuming, listen, there's going to be a trios. Something's going on with those trios belts. It's happening. We don't know when, but it's fucking happening. It's already been confirmed. So, one of those tag teams is going to be, has got to saddle up with Adam Cole. I mean, who knows? Maybe they reunite the Hung Bucks. Maybe because, Kenny's not going to be around for a while. Hangman's really got nothing to do. Maybe if they do a trios tournament, maybe Hangman sides with the Bucks and they're like, yo, let's do this thing. And then you have Adam Cole signed with, Red Dragon. That would be a fantastic trios tournament. Add that with, Death Triangle, Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. You could do Moxley, Danielson, and Yuta. Oh, man, please, 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 please let those matches happen. Please. That's all I want. What else? Athena, speaks, she's saying she's all elite. She's happy to be at AEW. She's calling out Jade. Jade comes out. She has Stokely Hathaway speak for her. Basically says Jade is a queen and a goddess and basically the TBS champion. Kiera Hogan stepped up and got in Athena's face. And then Anna Jay comes out and gets in Red Velvet's face. And she gets in Statlander. I'm sorry. Anna Jay gets in Kiera Hogan's face. Chris Statlander gets in Red Velvet's face. And they got separated. So, listen, I think Statlander should be the one to beat Jade. But they're making it like Athena's going to be, pretty much they're going to start building her up to be the number one contender. So, I don't know. We'll see. But I feel like the reaction... Okay, so Statlander got a really great reaction on Rampage. She had a match with Ruby Soho for to see who was going to be in the finals of that tournament. In which, Dr. Britt Baker won that match against Ruby. Statlander put up a good fight. She had a great intro to the match promo. The crowd loved it. The crowd were siding with her for a while after that. And after that, when she lost the match, they booed Ruby Soho and made it hard for her to do her post-match. Ooh, there's thunder out there. Made it hard for her to do her post-match speech. So, I just feel like it's Statlander's time. The crowd's behind her. She's got a more serious gimmick. I feel like, I don't think they should, but here's the thing. I don't like them. I don't like bringing people in and immediately giving them title shots because then it's they're going to lose. If there's when they're building up someone to win in AEW because they put together a string of matches on television and no one who just comes into the company just wins the title on their second or third match. You know what I mean? So unless they're going to have Athena mess with all these matches on Dark and Elevation and beating a bunch of geeks, then You know, like, I just don't want her challenging for the title. She should be challenged. She should be one of the challengers for Statlander and possibly losing after she's been built up as a credible threat and then just set up an Athena title run somewhere down the line. Who knows? Maybe they could set her up to beat, Thunder Rosa down the line. She would be a great women's champion. So, I don't know. But I don't like that I feel like they're positioning Athena to be the person who's going to be fighting Jade next. And I feel like it should be Statlander, and I feel like Statlander should win. So, oh, Bucks and Lucha Bros is happening on Rampage? Thank you. I feel like they were trying to say it, but then there was like shit going on in the match. And then Jericho was telling, Excalibur to shut up. And I was like, damn it, like, who are the Bucks going to fight? Like, goddamn. But, like, that should be a great match. I thought their match at All Out in the Cage was one of, like, the greatest tag team matches I had ever seen. So I'm all down for that shit. So Wardlow comes in. He beats the shit out of JD Drake. After the match, Shivani was going to interview Wardlow. Smart Mark showed up, said that he was serving a class action lawsuit on behalf of the security workers. And basically, he tore up the lawsuit and beat the shit out of more people at the end. Dan Lambert and American Top Team were backstage. They were basically, calling out, Dante Martin, saying he has potential, but he's not going to be the one to be the TNT champ. Him versus Scorpio should be a great match. Obviously, Dante isn't going to win it, but it should be an awesome match. It should be entertaining. Ruby Soho and Toni Storm defeated Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter. This was a great match. Like, there was a certain point where I was just like, yo, this is fucking awesome. So, like, I'm digging this match. All four of these women had history. All four of these women are great wrestlers, and they had a great wrestling match. I had heard that the match with Ruby and Britt was produced by Dax from FTR, and that was a great match that they had. It was, obviously, you have to, if you watch, I feel like if you want to watch Double or Nothing, like, you have to watch each match as an episode and not watch the entire 5-hour thing and just grade each match as it is on its own. Because if you start watching these matches and you watch it in that marathon format, like, it's just not going to be the same. You know what I mean? But, like, definitely take the time to watch, like, the Soho and Baker match, like, on its own. Very solid match. I thought it was great. And this was a great match on Dynamite also. I'm fucking excited to see great women's, wrestling because it adds variety to the show, and I want to see them wrestle great, and so far, like, the match that they had on, the match that Statlander and Soho had on Rampage was awesome. So, like, the women's wrestling, in AEW right now, on television and on the pay-per-views, with maybe the exception of the Jade Cargill and Anna Jay match, has been excellent. So I'm excited to see that shit. And basically, they got attacked after the match to the end. Fucking heels. Main event was Jon Moxley versus Daniel Garcia. They had William Regal and Jericho on commentary, basically yelling at each other, talking about wrestling and sports entertainment, blah, blah, blah. Moxley got busted open in the match. He ended up winning. That's pretty much it. And the match almost got ruined because Jericho interfered, and Kingston came out of nowhere, beat the shit out of him. Mox beat the shit out of Garcia, and that was pretty much how it ended. But great, like, solid episode of Dynamite, man. Like, the stuff with MJF, awesome. The women's wrestling, awesome. Not gonna lie, even that match with the Bucks and Red Dragon, that was a fun match too. And the Bucks won, which I thought was which was awesome. Also, that was fun too. Like, it was a fun night of wrestling. We got to see Miro come back, which was great. But a lot of crazy shit going on, man. A lot of crazy shit. Between the contract stuff with MJF, no one knows what's really going on. Between the stuff that's going on with Sasha Banks and Naomi, no one really knows what's going on. AEW is definitely in, I feel like it's in, like, its terrible twos, where it's kind of just like, now we're really going to know what identity it's going to take going forward. We don't know really what's going on in terms of the leadership at Warner, because they got bought out by Discovery. So, like, a lot of big changes there. I know that they didn't want to go with scripted programming on their on their channels anymore. So like I really don't know what that means because technically wrestling is scripted. So, but I don't know, man. It's an interesting time. Um, I think Hell in a Cell is happening soon. They're gonna have Cody and Rollins face each other. Oh, let's go over the Oh, I'm sorry, I'm missing stuff in my notes that I didn't talk about. They announced the Battle of the Belts for August 5th, so we're getting another one of those. The lineup for Rampage as it stands is the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers. Athena is going to make her in-ring debut, and Scorpio Sky versus Dante Martin for the TNT title. The only match that they have booked for next week's Dynamite is Hangman Page versus David Finlay, which is another it's an AEW and New Japan matchup. Obviously, they're gearing for Forbidden Door. And yeah. So they're doing Blood and Guts is 4 weeks away on June 29th. And yeah, I think that's the stuff. Is that all the stuff that I missed? I think that's all the stuff that I missed. Yeah. But I'm telling you guys, crazy weekend for AEW, crazy weekend for wrestling in general. If you guys haven't noticed already on the channel, I started doing streaming. We're calling it the Cologne Chronicles. We are several episodes deep in that saga already. This is a chronicle of me and a couple of my buddies who we game with every night. There are some people who kind of, come in and out, people that we know that come in and help us out with what we're doing, but it's pretty much a wide variety of games. There's going to be sometimes I'm going to be playing on my own single-player games, but we play a lot. We've been playing a lot of Destiny. We've been playing a lot of Halo Infinite. We've been throwing some Fortnite in there. There's going to be some Call of Duty soon, maybe even some Warzone. I'm not too sure whether or not I'm mentally fucking capable of going into that again. I was playing some, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I was playing some Evil Dead. That was fun, going through the single player campaign. There's going to be some Forza being played. There's going to be some Warhammer being played, so it's going to be like a chronicle of like the games I play with myself and my specific group of friends over at Boone Syndication. I would definitely Google them, YouTube them up, and subscribe to their channel. They're good guys over there, and they're my buddies. It is basically a little combined collaboration between this channel and Boone Syndication broadcasting live. In terms of a schedule, to be quite honest, it's been a little sporadic. I've just been kind of putting up streams whenever I know I'm going to be online for a just to play around for a couple of hours. We'll probably settle into some sort of schedule soon. I might even be streaming tonight. So stay tuned to this channel for further updates tonight. I might actually be streaming for a couple of hours. I'm not sure what we're playing tonight. I know that the last couple of streams we were doing a raid in Destiny 2. We might be doing some, I don't know, there's a lot of Pinnacle stuff that we've been doing, so we might be playing that. There's definitely been talk of a Warhammer Inquisitor being played soon. We've been going through that constantly, probably getting in a couple of new people to play. So, so a lot of fun stuff for the channel. Eventually, I am looking to do a TV and movie review podcast. That's going to take a little bit of time because that is something I most 100% would love to do with the co-host. So I'm in the midst of just trying to see how it would fit in my schedule because I have an actual job outside of this. And how it would also have to coincide with the schedule of whomever is going to be the co-host. So, don't send requests. I'm not taking requests. I am picking out who it is. So there you go. So yeah, a lot of great things at the channel. And again, like I said, eventually we'll probably be on social media. I'm just debating when I want to make my life miserable. So I've been delaying that like a motherfucker. But anywho, wow, a lot of interaction in the chat. That's got to be Ortiz. What's going on, brother? Thanks for watching. Richie, love you, brother. Thank you. Royal, you the man. I think you left your sunglasses at my house a couple of days ago. Just to let you know. Who else is in there? Doom, as always. What's good, brother? Oh, thank you for the positive feedback on the video game stuff, man. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna play a lot of Yeah, I'm gonna pick, not choose. Exactly. I'm very picky. Yo, like outside of wrestling, like TV and movies is like one of my like huge passions. You know what I mean? So like, it is gonna be someone who matches like the fervor of my dream. So, yeah, but it should be fun once I figure out like a format and a schedule and a co-host. That'll pretty much be it, and a name. So, that might happen. But what you call it. But I appreciate everyone who's watching the chat. Thank you very much. We will be back. This show, Smells Like Wrasslin', will be back next Wednesday after Dynamite. Actually, let me just make sure 100% that Real World doesn't interfere with Podcast World. Yeah. We're good. We are good for Wednesday, June 8th. But yeah. Great show, guys. Thank you all for watching. Thank you guys all for the chat for supporting. Spread the word. If you know any wrestling fans who you think would really enjoy the show and want to like interact in this kind of format, like let them know about the channel. The more the merrier. We have a lot of fun in the chat, and it makes for interesting episodes. So, spread the word. If you know anybody who wants to, or is interested in the other things on the channel, like when we game and the potential movie and TV stuff. Like I said, like I'm looking to make the channel grow a little bit. I'm having a lot of fun doing it, and I'm glad that I have the time to actually put towards this, because this is something I really enjoy doing. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. A lot of fun stuff. But again, thank you guys. I'm going to sign off for the evening. I appreciate you all. Have a great night, and possibly see you later on the Cologne Chronicles episode. Might be streaming later tonight. Take care, guys. Bye.